Okay, so working on this little winter Arctic build over here. It's coming together. I'm going to do more about that and show how it's going. So I got an LED strip, which is blue, which a friend of mine gave to me. Thanks, you know who he is if he's watching this. And what I want to do is I want to wire this in so I can have blue lighting inside the case. So if I notice, you got black and you got red. Typically you would say, oh, let me wire this to the red cable, let me wire this to the black cable, but it's not going to work. The reason why it's not going to work is because if you look on the LED strip, see if I can get it in here, you got 12 volts and you got ground. So now looking at the wires on the power supply, you would assume, oh man, I got red, I got black, plug it in. Well, if you plug it into the red and the black, it's not going to work. The reason why it's not going to work is because the red is actually 5 volts and that's not going to be enough to power it up. In these power supplies, the yellow is actually the 12 volt connector on it. So what you're going to need to find out, because sometimes some power supplies, and I don't think I have one around here. Well, no, I don't have one around here. Some of these power supplies, they're not labeled. They don't have the RGB, whatchamacallit, not RGB, the ketchup and mustard connectors. So if you don't have the ketchup and mustard connectors, then all you have is black, yellow, red, blue, whatever type of special sleeving that it comes with. So how do you figure out if you need where the 12 volt is? So here's a little quick tip. So what you do is you get yourself a voltmeter, turn it on, and you get it to test the voltage. So I have this power supply mounted up. This is a dummy power supply. If it fries or anything happens to it, I really don't care because I can't use it because it came from an older computer. And what you do is you take your leads. Your black is going to be ground, which I have it, and your red is going to go to your yellow. So now with your voltmeter, you can mix these up, go through different ones. You're not going to short it. You're not going to come to any damage. All it is measuring the voltage. So you would go each one until you find out which one is your ground, which one is your positive or your 12 volts. So in this case, I got it plugged into the black on the molex, and I got it plugged into the yellow, which is my 12 volt source. So by putting over here, as you can see, I have 11.8, 12 volts pretty much. There is some voltage drop that you do lose and you get. So now if I put these in, hopefully without frying this, see if I could do this one-handed. Can I do it one-handed? Am I that good? Yes. As you can see, it powers up because I got the black on the ground and the red on the 12 volt. Now if you plug it into the red, it's not going to light up because it's only going to get 5 volts. But if you plug it over here, which, there we go, into the yellow, you're going to get the 12 volts. So it's pretty simple if you're going to wire this up. So now what I'm going to do is, instead of cutting into this, let me take this off real quick, rewind a little bit. So if you need to try this power supply out and try it without plugging into the computer because you're worried about damaging the computer or the components, they sell these jumper connectors. This one came with an EVGA power supply that I have bought, and what it does is it just turns the power supply on, jumps it, turns it on, and that way you can test it. Good for custom water loops when you have to bleed out the system, or just testing it, or just testing external hard drives. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can do with it. So I got this connector. They sell them on Amazon. They're real cheap. They're only a couple of dollars, but this one came with a power supply I have bought. So now that you figured it out, you know which way to go on it. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these because I really don't feel like cutting this apart. I don't, or at least not in that power supply I'm going to use. I'm not going to cut it apart because you might need it. I mean, doubtful that I'll need a molex for anything, but I really don't want to do that. I found this connector. I think I paid $1 on Amazon, and I'm going to plug this into the molex. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to junction these wires together, solder them together, and that's actually going to be my 12 volt power source to power this LED strip. And then on the computer, I'll go ahead and pop this somewhere in here or wherever, and that should work out. So just real quick, easy tip. If you want to figure out where your 12 volt is, especially because these are 12 volts, now check them. Some of them are 5 volts, and you can use a 5 volt reference. This one's a 12 volt. All you got to do is figure out where your 12 volt is. Get yourself a voltmeter. This is a Fluke. This is actually a really good expensive one that I use for automotives and everything else, but it works great for computers and all that good jazz. And find your ground. Once you figure out which one your ground is, or you start moving around, as soon as you figure out which one is the 12 volt reference, which is always going to be the yellow, which is by itself, those are the ones that you're going to have to wire it into. Now if you were to go through, which I already lost it, dropped it somewhere around here. Oh, there we go. If you was to go ahead and follow this pin out using the red and black, it's not going to work. Well, actually it will work, but if you just went with the color diagram of it, it's not going to work because it's going to give you the the 5 volt, but this one is going to line up to the yellow, which will give me my 12 volt source. So you can't always follow the wires if you're going to try to get your 12 volt source. You need to test them, figure it out real quick and easy. Get a dummy power supply so you don't worry about frying your main power supply components. Jumper connector, a couple of dollars. A voltmeter. Harbor Freight sometimes has these for free when you buy their stuff, or you get them for like $2, $3. It doesn't have to be super fancy, and that's the easiest way to test it. So we'll go ahead, wire this, and we'll go ahead and put this in the computer. Okay, so we got it wired up using this molex connector, which actually kept the same color scheme going on. Red to red, which is a positive. Black to black, which is ground. Like I said, the red is actually not a 5 volt, it's actually a 12 volt, and we figured that out using the voltmeter. So now that I got it in, I'm going to plug it into this computer right over here. Let's see if we can do it one-handed. Probably not, because I suck at this. Oh wait, put it in backwards. See if we can get that in there. Let's see, will this thing cooperate? Can I do this one-handed? I'm going to have to put the camera down. We're going to have to put the camera down just for a sec. Okay, that was easy. So we got it wired up. Good. This is our LED strip, going with the blue theme. All right, let's give this computer some power. It'll give me a beep because I don't have a keyboard plugged in to let you know that. Let's plug this in. Boom. Nice. So I got this nice bright LED that's plugged right into there. Got my power source, and she's ready to go. So we'll go ahead and pop her in the computer. Don't know where I'm going to put her yet, but now we have that going. So quick, easy tip. And that way I didn't have to cut into this. That adapter actually was for a 3-pin fan connector. Let's get this out of here. It was a 3-pin fan connector that they used, and I'm not using this 3-pin for anything. I just rather use this adapter instead of hacking into our power supply. So I mean, you can hack into a power supply as a truck drives by. You can hack into the power supply and do that. I'm not a fan of it. Like I said, if I want to go back and change it or do something later, I can. Nothing you can do is, like, this power supply actually has these old connectors. I could use the yellow from here if I wanted to. I could tap into a SATA. I mean, the options, they're endless, however you want to do it. I was just going to use this molex because this was easier. So I recommend getting a little adapter like this, plug it in, and there we go. So now it works. So quick, easy tip. I mean, probably cost me, what, these strips, they're like $1 on eBay, maybe $1 for that. So $2, you have an LED strip that works real good. I mean, of course, you're not going to be able to change the color theme or anything like that, but we're going for a blue theme on this. So, and then also, if I wanted to daisy chain, I could get another connector like this, daisy chain them together, or probably even wired two together, which, So I'll put some electrical tape on this, clean this up real nice, make this look real good, and we'll get this in, and eventually we'll see how this build comes out. So thanks for watching. Quick, easy tip.